What up, everybody? Just got back from watching Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Long title, long movie, 2.5 hours. I will warn you. I was really excited for this. It's been kind of a slow year, 2024. I know we're only in May, but time's flying. Deadpool's coming out soon. Some good movies I'm looking forward to. Joker 2. But this is the first one I've been really excited for this year. And I was kind of let down, but I will get to that soon. I will start off with a couple positives, but I really love The Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I love that movie. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, I really like. You can see my review. It may look like a really negative title, but it's not a bad movie. I just didn't really care much for the human characters. But my mind's kind of changing on the movie because, like, the more and more I think about it, I do like them more. I've been thinking about that movie a lot because I just watched it the other night. Really, really like War of the Planet of the Apes. Really stuck between that and Rise as my favorite ones. So I was really excited for this. I was really excited to see Caesar's son, how they're gonna, just move on to this next chapter. And the one thing I really appreciate, I'm not going to spoil the movie or anything, but they, if you've seen War of the Planet of the Apes, the movie before this, Caesar dies. If you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, you're late, buddy. But he dies, and they kind of leave it up to his son at the, there's a shot of his son at the end of the movie, kind of leading up to this. And this is years, like generations later. And they did a really good job of just, leaving that story where it was. They just finished it tidy, 100% clean. They didn't try to redo anything. They don't mention Caesar like too much in the movie. There's dialogue about him here and there, but it all feels natural, and they just did a really good job of connecting everything together. And it's simple, but they did a good job. They could have, completely ruined it, but they didn't. And I still think this franchise, even though I didn't like this movie as much as the other ones, I still think this franchise is super underrated, doesn't get talked about enough compared to everything else that we have. But I don't think this movie's going to get a lot of... sorry. I don't think this movie's going to get a lot of attraction like the other ones did because Andy Serkis isn't in it. I'll kind of get to that in the negatives, but I'm still talking positives here. There is some things I liked. There were some good emotional moments. There was not a lot of action, which is disappointing, but what we get is pretty good. But there's really not a lot. It's more of like an adventure movie compared to Matt Reeves and his dark, gritty style that I just absolutely love. So this is a new director, keep in mind. So it's different. It is kind of dark, but they kind of take I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place here. They kind of take an approach of making it lighthearted and not like Matt Reeves, where it's pretty much darkness. There is a couple of heartful moments, but for the most part, it's really gritty and violent. And here, it's more of like a PG style Godzilla Kong compared to, Godzilla -1. That's kind of how I thought of it. Even though the other ones weren't like super bloody or anything, they were really violent. And this movie kind of felt like the Godzilla Kong, the Godzilla -1, which isn't good. This one felt more disposable. Sorry, I keep jumping around. But even though that, factor came in, the movie didn't feel completely disposable because even though I didn't like it that much, I could tell how much effort they put into it to try to make it good. You can tell they put a lot of effort into this movie, not just technology-wise. They do have a lot of moments with the characters, which I appreciate. If you're not going to give us a lot of action, I can go with some good character work. I'm good with that. But the problem for me was I just didn't find it interesting enough. I think they pulled it off better in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, like in origin stories. It's kind of like what this is for Caesar's son, and it just I wasn't trying to compare it to those movies when I was watching it. I was trying to just think of the movie on its own terms, try to think the other ones didn't really exist, and it still didn't really sit with me right. Like I tried to get through it, but when I got to like the middle portion of the movie, I was like completely lost. The new director just takes it in a completely different way than Matt Reeves. There is good cinematography. There is a decent score. It's nowhere near as good or gut punching like the one from War of the Planet of the Apes, but there is fun to be had here. It's not a terrible movie. You can tell that they put a lot of hard work into just character development. But like I said, at the end of the day, there was nothing there for me to like grab onto, and not just emotionally, just like anything that I liked or enjoyed about any of these characters. I found Caesar's son to be pretty bland, and that's mostly due. I didn't like the voice actor, and I didn't like the dialogue he was given, and he's basically getting kidnapped for like half the movie. Half the movie is like an adventure movie. The beginning's really slow, the middle is pretty slow, and it picks up near the end. And there's a couple scenes in between that are interesting to watch, but nothing like the other movies. I'm not trying to compare it, but I'm just surprised that I didn't like it. I'm really surprised. I really wanted to enjoy it. I had really high hopes going in. My expectations were in the middle. I was just happy to see it, and I was just disappointed by the end. Didn't really get anything out of it. It just kind of felt like a disposable blockbuster movie with some good elements to it, but overall, it was just whatever. I'll just go watch the other ones. They won't get old. I can still watch them. So that's kind of what I think about the movie overall. I just think Matt Reeves' style suited this so much better. If he did this movie and just did Caesar's son, but we still had Matt Reeves doing it, maybe I would have liked it more. The style of the movie didn't completely ruin it for me. It was more just liking any of these, like caring for any of these apes. I just didn't really care. I don't want anything to happen to Caesar's son, but I just didn't find his character arc or him to be that interesting. There's not much of a character arc. It's pretty plain and dry. And for the most part, like the rest of the movie, we're just on this wild goose chase for absolutely nothing. Like, there's not really a story. You're just kind of in this adventure with them. And I didn't really like that about the movie, because these movies have really good stories to them. So I don't really understand where the director's going to end up taking this. I don't know if they're going to make more. Depends on how this does at the box office. But all those other movies, I felt something after I watched them. It was more than just a stupid blockbuster movie. Like, there were some goddamn good emotional moments, really good character development, characters you cared about, great action sequences, and that's what this movie is missing. There's barely any fighting whatsoever. And like I said at the beginning, I wouldn't mind that. I could have a movie with characters, but they weren't interesting to me. So, I don't know. I give the movie like a 6 out of 10. Never plan on watching it again. I really hope the second one's a lot better. We'll see. Could be right. It could be really good if it ever comes out. But I just don't know where they're going to go with this. Like, there's not much more to do, and they don't really leave it off on a cliffhanger. There's not a post-credit scene like there was for Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just leave it. I don't know, but I have if they're gonna make a movie out of Caesar's son, they're probably gonna do more than one. I don't know. I just don't see where else they're gonna go. They took everybody down. There's nothing really else left to do. So we'll see. Thank you guys for watching the review, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace out.